Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in to Motorsport Factory once again. Those of you turning in for the first time, welcome to my channel. Today I felt like working on my mobile car, my 1987 300D, and one of the things I wanted to talk about, for those of you that have a 87 300D or relatively around the same year, you having problems with your power seats, right? So let's say you have this power seat issue. Let's say it goes forward and it doesn't go backward. Well, in this case, the car is fine. I've had this issue before. As you can see, I was going forward and it goes backward. But let's say it goes forward, but it doesn't go backward, but it can keep going forward. One of the things I was learning about these cars is, besides checking your fuses and relays and things of that nature, and checking the motor under the seat, I kind of messed with it a little bit, but one of the things I've learned is that there's a lot of stuff here. I don't want to get too off track here. One of the things I learned is that starting with the quicker, easier things instead of doing too much disassembly work. One of the things is we're going to take this thing out and try to clean this up. And I've done this before, but I just want to take it apart and like show you guys how to clean this and maintain it instead of buying a new switch or taking it to a shop and having to spend God knows how many hundreds of dollars you would have to end up spending to fix this thing. So in order to take the switch out and do this step, you want to pop these switches out. You take a flathead screwdriver, and it needs a little bit of finesse. One of the things is you don't want to break any of these plastic components. You want to be very careful and taking them off. So I'm trying to be very careful as I do that, and I'm hoping I didn't break anything. I'm gonna pause for a second and I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. I just had to go find the parts that flew off. So as you see, you have more access to take this panel off. So this should just come out no problem. To do this service, to do this maintenance, requires very little components here. So I'm just trying to do this as I'm recording with one hand. I really wish, I really have to give it to Eric, the car guy, who does everything with one hand. So next thing you need is Phillip head, so you can see one screw down here, right? And then there's going to be one screw up here. Hopefully you guys can see it, because I don't know if the camera lighting is going to allow you to see everything. And then just take it off. Just be careful not to lose these screws, because they are the only ones that you may have. I'm going to actually try to magnetize these screwdrivers more. Because one of the things is, you don't be scared to do this. It's always scary at first trying to figure out what to do, especially with these older cars. One source I can recommend you going to if you're having a tough time with whatever model Mercedes you may have, is mercedessource.com, and there's a YouTube channel for it. The gentleman's name is Kent Bergsma, I believe, and he definitely has a lot of tips as far as certain Mercedes that you may have, and he's definitely been very helpful for my Mercedes. This magnet is not catching. That's why I gotta magnetize this thing more. So once you got these two screws, remember, like I said, one's up here, one's gonna be down here. You kind of just forget it, kind of jiggle it out. That's all you gotta do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this for a second, then I'm going to take it out, use both hands and take it out, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so got it like safely out, and just to give myself enough slack. So the next thing to do is you're going to take these two plugs off, and then just use a screwdriver to just kind of pry on it. You know, use a flathead and just pry up on it. You know, just take every corner and do that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to a table, a workbench kind of area, and show you the next step, and then how to take that apart. So the thing you'll need to be careful with is inside has a lot of springs, and there's bearings. You know, the little bearings the size of, you know, the BB guns. That's what it's going to have. So once we do that, and then I'm going to show you how to clean it and maintain it and everything like that, and show you what I did to keep it maintained, and then we'll yeah. So first, remember, take these off. Actually there's three plugs, excuse me. There's this one, and this one. So just pry them off. Just be careful, take your time with it, don't rush it, because remember, these are old parts that you need to maintain. So otherwise you're going to be spending money on, you know, buying new parts. So let me pause it here, and then let me get set up in the other area, and then we'll show you how to do the rest of the stuff. Hello everybody, so we are back. So now that we got the component out, one of the things you want to be careful with is the tabs here. If you notice right here, and then even on the other side. The good thing is there's enough of an opening on here that you can kind of pry open and stuff like that. So when you do, you want to be a little careful as you're doing this, right? So you just want to take your time, you know, because, you know, this being an old car, you know, you don't know how brittle these things would be, right? So you just slowly open it, but you want to keep it facing like this, really. You don't want to have it on the side. So the reason why I'm taking my time on each corner, should have had a thinner screwdriver. You don't want to go too thick, because if it's too thick, it's hard to get into these slots. So come on now. So you just want to be careful, because you want to remember where the position of each of the switches are. So this side's coming out okay. Yeah, this side's just being a little stubborn. Whatever you do, don't even get frustrated. There's no point in that. Just be patient, just breathe. It's one of those things, you know. Working on cars can get frustrating, you know. But I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to take care of a few things, and I'll be right back, okay? Okay, guys, what I forgot to mention, other than the tabs on the side and the tabs here, there's tabs on these sides too, if you look on both sides. That's one of the things I forgot to mention. And then apparently in mine, I don't remember if I had a screw on here or not, but in the back side, where the connectors went, should be a screw back here. Phillip head screw, just take that off too before you start prying on this stuff, and then it should make your job a little easier. Like I said, just take your time with it. Just pry on each corner. Take your time with it. You don't need to get frustrated, because frustrating can get very expensive. You want to start throwing things across the room, and I know how that feeling is. Okay, so we got a little bit of it out. Like I said, it's one of those things. Should have had a slimmer screwdriver, but it's one of those things you want to get frustrated, but you can't. It's like, it's kind of like doing surgery, So we're almost there. There we go. So everything just comes out nice and smooth. So now that you see, these things have bearings in it, right? I think it kind of went off position here. But there's bearings and switches. So there's 2 bearings on each switch. Well, I should say 4. So what you want to do, the top bearings will be on the top, and there's bearings on the bottom. And I'm going to just slowly take these out, so they get sandwiched. You got. So I'm just going to dump it all out. You're like, oh my God, what are you doing? Don't worry, it's not that tricky. I take them out. And this is one that is not wanting to come out. But they all will come out. And just remember, you don't have to dump it all like the way I did. But one of the things is these little flaps, I should call. I forget there was a word for it. What you want to do is these little tabs, the bearings, clean them out, and then you want to clean out every contact points in here to make it easy for when the switches go back to where they need to be. So when you do open it up, one of the things you want to do is just remember where everything went. So as I'm putting them back, so I'm just kind of just demonstrating to you guys how everything goes. It's one of those things. Just take a day off and just work on this. It's not going to be that bad. All right, let's see. So when you put it back after you've done cleaning them, which doesn't take more than once you get used to doing this, it's not going to be that bad to do. You're going to be saving a great deal of money. If I had some tweezers, I forget how I did it last time. Just take your time with it. Put these tabs back together. There we go. Switches and bearings and all this stuff. We'll put all the bearings and stuff together in a second. So as you can see, these little tabs fit. There's these little tabs on each side. You'll see how they sit. Okay. Where did this one go? Tend to forget what I was doing here. I know, so kind of don't do what I'm doing. And I'm just kind of looking at some of the tabbings, just seeing what needs to be cleaned. And once you do that, and then just sand, whoops, don't want to shake the camera here, and then gently put these shafts back together, and it'll make the job a lot easier. And if you can't remember where things go, just also you have your this, so you have to see where everything went. Did I put this on the wrong? Oh yeah, there we go. So just slightly, you just put this back on, and you'll see where everything went, where the switches go and whatnot. And then you'll know how to trying to see how this one went. It's been a while for me since I did it. I know I shouldn't have done what I did, but I did what I did. But I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to try to realign everything, and then I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I was just having to do a few things. I'm kind of getting interrupted here and there. When you ever take these little tabs out, one of the things you should do when you clean, not just the front, clean the back, like these little dimples, these little spot welds, or whatever you want to call it. Take a little bit of sandpaper, and just hopefully you can get a clean shot of it without. But just clean front and back, and then put them back in their respected places. And just remember where the switches. Don't do what I did. I kind of just dumped it out. It's kind of a cold day today. And then just remember where you put them back. And then one of the things you want to remember is you take one of these bearings, right? You put them in each slot. First, a bearing goes in before a spring, right? And then when you put a bearing in, then you can put a spring in, right? And right on top of it. And then you put another bearing on top of that. You want to, especially when you're done putting bearings on top, you want to really be careful not to sneeze or do anything funky that would jeopardize, make you want to start all over again. And just put the bearings back in, and then springs. Careful. One of the things you want to make sure that you keep everything in a pile, because the second you lose something, good luck trying to find it. I mean, I'm sure you can use a bearing like they use that's pretty much the size of a BB gun. So now every Mercedes models that have these kind of switch will pretty much be the same thing. Try to make sure you're in the right camera view. And so I'm going to take a pause for a second again, and because you guys should be able to get the idea. If not, you can just leave a comment and just let me know what you guys need help with. And then I'll try to help you guys out as I can. Oops, did I put more than one BB in there? Yep, I did. Like an idiot. Okay, so, but you guys get the idea, right? So I'm going to kind of clean up and do the same thing. Oops, all right, well, so, but you guys get the idea. If something's not making sense, kind of give you a little bit of a close-up on how everything looks. So remember, in each slot, put the bearing in first, then put a spring, and then put the bearing on top. So it's the bearings are sandwiching the spring. So be careful not to drop anything, because a good thing my thing is magnetic. And said I was going to pause right now, but I ended up continuing. It's a little tough to work with because of the fact that try to figure out why this one's binding. So one of the things is, if you have to clean the inside of these tabs, can kind of tell you maybe there's something binding in there too. That's why I clean out the insides of these switches too, so make sure nothing's binding. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest of this stuff, and then I'll come back to you guys, and then we'll test out the rest of the stuff. Guys, so got everything back in its place, if you can see clearly. Sorry about the lawnmower noises. I have neighbors doing having landscaping guys do lawn work. So like I said, real quick to go over again, make sure when you take everything out, just kind of memorize where everything goes, and then you take your cover, slowly put everything back. Darn it. One of the things, this job here, you have to be very, very patient with it. You know, so it's one of those things that you have to take your time when you're putting it on. Okay, so when you do that, I know it can get very frustrating when you don't have a helping hand or something. I think maybe I made a mistake somewhere. Yeah, I think this goes on the other way. Sometimes I myself forget. Now when it's nice and cold. Oh, gosh dang it. See, that's the thing, like it can get frustrating. So like I said, just got to be patient. It's not one of those things that there's no need to rush, you know. That's why you're seeing me kind of screw up at the same time. So as you see, you have your slots. So if you if you misposition something, then it's not that difficult to put back. If I had a video editing guy, you probably wouldn't be seeing me make as much mistakes as I am now. The other thing too is nothing wrong with putting a little bit of dielectric grease to kind of just keep everything kind of in place. I know I should probably do that myself, but in the case I don't know where my grease is, and I'm just taking my time with this thing, and there we go. So there you go. Everything's back. what you want to do is just make sure nothing, if you feel something's binding, then you may have to reopen this and make sure none of the bearings, just checking to make sure none of the bearings had fell. If they did, you would have noticed that. Alright, so it looks like we got everything back together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the switches back on. I'm going to test it to make sure everything's good. And make sure you put the screws back on and you'll be good to go. Alright, so I'll be back in a little bit, and then we'll make sure everything's good to go, and then we'll test it on the car. Alright guys, so got it done, made sure I had it all tidied up. I ended up having to take it back out because of one of my switches wasn't working, so I had to actually go back in there and really do a thorough cleaning. So so that kind of concludes the tutorial for how to repair the power switch on your door for actually the power seats. So one of the things you always have to remember is, before you put everything away, well, actually let's put this cover back on. Actually, it's not too cold today, which is very good. Make sure you see this here that goes, kind of goes in here first, and then okay, why don't you want to go in? I need to master how to record and do what Eric the Car Guide is. I really have to give that guy a lot of credit. He must have been doing this for years and practicing a lot. Okay, I'm trying to figure out why it's not going in. It's kind of a weird. These cars get old, what happens is, and make sure your switch is facing this way, because you have to take the buttons out, the switches out, the actual mechanism controller, before you could take this cover plate off. Then you have this piece that goes right here, and you have your other piece. And then you do a quick check. You don't even have to actually turn the car on or anything like that. You just have to test to see if it okay. So it works. Front, back, side to side, upside down, inside out. I forget what this actual switch does, this third switch. This is to move, remember, side to side, and this is to make the headrest and stuff tilt. So, alright, there you go. That's how you fix a power seat on a 87-300D. And again, as long as the Mercedes models that have this kind of a switch, the same concept applies. So, alright, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you can always leave comments in the section below, or you can email me, and I will leave my email in the description. Also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube, also like this video, share with friends and family, and I will see you guys in my next video. And be also on the lookout for the first 100 subscribers. When I have 100 subscribers, I want to do a giveaway. And the first giveaway I'm going to do is, it's going to be a hand engraved 17-ounce glass of the Motorsport Factory. That's going to be what I want to do. And then I'm going to do a raffle, and then once I have 100 subscribers on my Facebook and 100 on my YouTube, then we'll go ahead and give that start. And I want to start doing that every 100 subscribers. I want to do a giveaway. I will also do monthly giveaways, and as soon as I also have 100 subscribers on Facebook and YouTube, then I also want to do a channel art contest to see who can come up with the best channel art for the YouTube page. and I'll do another giveaway with that too. All right, so I will see you guys in my next video, and if you guys want to see anything else, I will definitely do my best to make a video. I'll definitely make more videos for this 300D. There's a couple of things that I want to go over. So I got a lot of cleaning to do anyway. But if there's anything else you need help with, there's definitely a lot of stuff I want to make a video of, and I will get back to you guys on it. And all right, that's it. So I will see you guys in my next video, and you guys have a good one.